Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me on another episode of The Mind of Reese. Today I kind of woke up pretty inspired about a certain topic, and I think that all of us kind of need it. It'll probably be a quickie little sesh here, this episode. But I've been like kind of thinking about how affirmations basically. And affirmations are something that we repeat to ourselves with intention, of course, and to allow our subconscious mind to believe that it is so. And I think in any business, whatever you're doing, whether it be in the creative business, which I am, which is, tattooing or art or whatever you're doing in your life, it doesn't even have to be in creative. It could be just being a stay-at-home mom, or even affirmations can help if you're single and you're looking for the right person, or you're looking for the right job for you, or something like that, or trying to actually create or bring more money into your life. Affirmations are everything. And I think the most important thing that we need to really truly understand is that our thoughts, our beliefs are everything, are the foundation of how we can push ourselves to go past our limits. Because if we don't believe we can, we won't. That's just the way it goes. You can have the wherewithal, you can have the drive, but it goes hand in hand. The people that tend to have the wherewithal and tend to have the drive and tend to keep going through the muck and the mire are the ones that have that no doubt, like, this is going to work, or this has to work. When you give yourself that kind of pressure, that kind of prodding, where, some people even go so far to believe that, I was reading in a book the other day, I forget what book it was. I'm always reading. I have probably 12 books on the side of my bed, all stacked up high, and I kind of just read each, each title, and I'll just go and whatever speaks to me, that's the book I read at night, because I always try to do my best to read at least 10 minutes in a book at night, and I try to stay away from blue light just because it's not good for your sleep. But anyway, so I was reading in a book somewhere about how your beliefs are everything, and how you can even spur yourself into doing something. It's almost like you give yourself like an ultimatum there. And I found that very interesting because, what she had described was that, a person that basically believes it without a shadow of a doubt that they need not can, but that they need to make $1,000 in 2 days. There are people that make excuses, and then there are people that create results. And so, you could say in your mind, oh yeah, I'm going to make the $1,000 in 1 day or in 2 days, but then you go for it, and then you're kind of like, and then you give yourself some sort of excuse on the reasons why you can't or you don't need to or something like that. So that's obviously not as imperative for you. But it's like, but then the other way goes, if I want you to make $1,000 in 2 days, and I come at you with a bar, or like I come at you with, we have like all the scary, horror film people that are chasing you, like Freddy Krueger and Jason, and people chasing you with chainsaws. And if you don't do it, you're going to get cut up into a bunch of little pieces. I'm pretty sure you're going to figure it out. So, it's like I said in last week's episode, it's like, it's not about your resources, it's about your resourcefulness. And we can do anything we put our mind to. It does not have to, people are always giving the excuses that it's about time and money. And I was talking about last week, if you haven't listened to my podcast last week about eliminating excuses and stopping procrastination, please listen to that podcast. There are a few helpful tips in there that I know that can really help you. If that is something that you need. We all do. I feel like we all do. And so for me, it's like, but where it starts, it does start in the mind. Like, I can send all that pressure towards you and whatever, but if you just don't believe you're going to do it, or you believe you want to do it or anything like that, it's just not going to happen. So I came up with 7 of my favorite affirmations. I personally think that affirmations are just an incredible way to basically train your subconscious mind. It's to train your mind to believe in the positive, because we've trained our minds, anything that we think or that we are prone to, that we are conditioned to think, that we automatically think or make a judgment call or something, that is a conditioning in your mind. It's a belief that you believe. Doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's not, but it is a belief that you believe is true for you. And so when those thoughts come up, and a lot of times it can be negative. A lot of times we're like, well, I can't do what she does. Like, or I can't, I had actually just a few people the other day when I, through my, I'm actually coming and creating a really cool course for tattoo artists and for artists in general on how to grow your business on via Instagram. And a lot of people are like, well, I can't because I don't have this, or I can't because I don't have that. And I'm like, well, see, those are conditioning thoughts in your mind where you're telling yourself that you can't do something, but really it just means that you won't. And so in order for us to kind of get past those thoughts, we have to dig a little deeper. But the way to kind of try to maybe turn them around, and instead of because digging deep is a whole other bag. And I think there's a lot to do with forgiveness and a lot to do with forgiving yourself and forgiving others, because we all grew up in our own unique lives and our own unique paths, and we've been through a lot, and there's a lot of things that you can't discount, but there's a lot of things that we need to just let go and forgive. But I think that at the end of the day, an affirmation can really just change your day around, even just your hour around. So I'm a constant person of the attitude of gratitude. I've actually started a New Year's resolution. I'm not huge on New Year's resolutions. I kind of just do whatever the fuck I want whenever I want to. I just put my mind to it and I just do it because I believe in the inevitability of my success, which is an affirmation that I say to myself all the time. And so I just think that affirmations are just a really great way to kind of build you up, as well as, so I was saying that I'm doing a New Year's resolution with 5 grateful things every single day for the next 365 days. And I have not missed a day. And it has been a little bit tough since I have traveled a little bit. But I just know that when I set a goal for myself, I have to obtain it. And that's something that I have a really great way of self-discipline. It's just because I know that there's a result. And excuse me, I have something in my eye. I know that there is a result at the end of the tunnel. I know that by me doing this and by me holding to my word, and I hold my words it's just my self-integrity is so high that I love saying that I'm a woman of my word and meaning it. And I love saying that because I am. And I want people to understand that when I say something, I mean it. And so, or when I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And so with this being said, I think we all need to hold ourselves accountable for the things that we say out loud, because words are powerful. Words are so powerful because they're the things that you're saying outside of yourself. So it's I have some people sometimes self-deprecating, which is it can be funny if you're trying to joke about yourself, but at the end of the day, that's almost something you actually really think. And I catch myself doing it all the time. Sometimes I'm oh shit, sorry, I talk too much. Or I'll apologize for things that maybe I'm being my authentic self, but then realize that maybe it's too much for people around me. And that's interesting, right? It's it's one of those things where maybe that's not the best way to go about it, because obviously I'm embarrassed, which is something I shouldn't be embarrassed of, being myself. And if I'm embarrassed around certain people, then maybe I shouldn't be around those certain people. You know what I mean? So it's so we have to really realize that negative talk towards ourselves, it doesn't even have to be super negative. That wasn't even that negative. It's even just a belief oh, I can't rock climb. I'm not that athletic. You're already putting a story in your mind that you're not athletic, and that's terrible, because you could do whatever the fuck you want to do, and that's why when we have those words and those thoughts and those stories in our brains, that definitely hinders our growth and hinders our success. And so affirmations for me are basically positive phrases that represent something you want to manifest. That's what it is. So as a motivational coach and as a spiritual being and a spiritual teacher, I really, really, really highly, truly believe that your words come first. They're the foundation of your success. They are going to get you through to the end. Because at the end of the day, guys, like if we don't believe in ourselves, we can't rely on other people believing in us believing in us for us. So it's one of those things where we got to do it ourselves. We come here and we can have all these people around us, but it's like even when you have people online saying you're amazing at art, and you're like, no, that's something we need to turn that around. Just be like, hey, thank you, and just start truly believing it. There was a lot of times when I was younger, and people would tell me, how beautiful I was or how talented I was. And and it's deep down, it's so funny how much I didn't really believe that, but I would hone in on that and I would kind of utilize it to like, what, instead of saying, no, you are, no, thank you. It's just like kind of being shy about it. I just kind of own it, say thank you and move on. And after I started forcing myself to do that, it actually started to believe it and I started to become more confident. I started to stand up straighter and I was like, you know what? I am beautiful and I am talented. And there's nothing wrong with saying it out loud. It's not being humble. It's just being confident. And I'm not being cocky about it. If someone says something, I say thank you and that's it. And we can just leave it at that. I don't say it like, oh, duh. You know what I mean? It's not like that, but it's definitely something where we need to really change our mindset around about being confident humans. I think that is something we all need to train ourselves to be, because we are special and we are fucking awesome. Like that's the point, And so with my affirmations, I'd like to give you 7 of my favorite ones. They all do kind of cater to the side of creativity and of abundance, because abundance to me is everywhere. And you guys, the moment we start believing that, we start looking at the things that we have and being grateful for those things, that energy that we send out into the universe, that energy that we send out all throughout life and it just the vibration and out there and sending it and having those wavelengths like bounce off other things and bounce off like that same vibration. So it's like gratitude, every emotion kind of falls in a line of a wavelength. So if you think about like all the waves, like if you see it, I'm on like those, like lie detector tests or even like EKGs, you see them on like heart monitors and stuff. Like those are like all wavelengths, you know what I mean? And there's so many different wavelengths in this world and this energy that we don't even realize. And so the energy that we send out into the universe only is going to bounce back and send us more of that energy. So if it's negative energy you're sending out, the more negative energy you're going to receive. And the same thing goes with the positive. So all the negative things or self-deprecating things you may think or believe about yourself are only going to warrant more negative beliefs and thoughts about yourself, or about your abilities, or about what you can and can't do, or about the things you can achieve. Like it's such a crazy thing to think about that it all starts right here in your mind. And it does. And it really, really does. And so, when I started this podcast, I really, really wanted to help people. And I wanted to help people with their minds, and I wanted to help people with their careers, because I believe that first off, it all starts with the mind. Do you want anything? It starts with your mind. I don't care what you think you can do. I'm the kind of person that's like, I had negative thoughts and I had some serious issues surrounding like my abilities to draw or to get better. And yet I kept pushing forward and forward and forward and forward. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people out there do that. But we always say when we see people rich, the rich and the famous, and they're still unhappy, it's because their mindset's not right. And so we can hustle our asses off, and, realize that we're actually just hitting a ceiling, because what we need to really get surpassed is what the beliefs that we have in our mind. So, I always think about this, and I'm not saying that my path isn't perfect, because it is. But there have been times now with me really truly diving deeper into my mindset and into how important my mind and my beliefs are. I believe that if there was, for some reason, I was able to figure this out a bit sooner, I would be better at tattooing. I would be better at my art. Because in the times where I would just keep pushing forward and keep pushing forward, it was like going through quicksand. And to be honest, it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's just it's what you believe. So in my mind, I was like, I didn't truly believe that I could get better. And not only that, I didn't truly believe in investing myself to get better, because I kept saying, oh, only when I get this much money will I do this. Will I take this seminar? Will I buy this course? Will I do this? Only when I get enough money, I will do all these things. And what's so funny about that belief around money is that I kept thinking I didn't have enough. But then when I changed my mind to think on the abundant side of life and realizing how much I have already, things just started coming out of nowhere. Money and abundance started showing up out of nowhere. All of the sudden, when I put my foot down and believed, you know what? I don't care how I'm going to get the money. I'm going to get the money because I need to do this, because I believe in my success. And this is where my intuition is telling me I need to purchase this seminar. I need to get this course. I need to get this coach. How do I do that? It doesn't matter. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to try, because why? I believe in my success. And if these are the ways to get to my success, I'm going to do it, period. And then once I started believing in the abundance around me and in my success, all of the sudden, I started making more money, because I started putting a reason behind why I needed to create that money. Now, if I'm just saying, oh, I just want $1 million, I don't think that's really the way it goes with law of attraction. It's like there has to be a purpose behind it. So if I'm like, you know what, if I can make an extra $5,000 this month, just so that I could purchase these coaches. And this happened last year. I was like, I need to make an extra $2,500 every single month. And I was already working every day I could already. And so I was like, how am I going to do this? Do I raise my prices? I already raised them, so I don't know what else to do. All of a sudden, someone walks into my life, and there's my apprentice, Jackie. And all of a sudden, and during this time, I didn't even look at Jackie as someone like, she's been doing like free tattoos at the time when I first hired her, like back in April. And then when all of a sudden I needed the extra income in my life, the only thing I thought of was, well, what do I need to do? When really what I needed to do was just have faith that it was going to come. And I affirmed that. So I was like, you know what? I believe in the inevitability of my success. I believe that money comes to me easily and simply. I believe that I will, have success with grace. I had so many ideas around like how I could bring out like I am worthy of my worth. I am, all of these things. And so crazy enough, it's like all of a sudden, more people started booking, and and then all of a sudden I raised my rate for my deposit. So that ended up working out really well. And then Jackie started working a lot. And so as she's paying for her rent out, all of a sudden I was like, holy moly, here we go. So it's like, you guys, when you put your mind on the right beliefs and put your mind in the fact that you can and that it's worth it, it's worth to invest in yourself and to invest in your mind. And I'm not saying even with money, I'm saying time. Time is money. Time is finite. We can't get that back. Money is money. Money is just energy. We put so much energy on money. It's like we will receive it when we realize that money is just a tool. We could hoard money. We could, think all these negative thoughts towards money. Oh, money, more problems. Like, I don't believe in that shit. I believe in, cool, more money means more helping people, means that I can reinvest into my business to help more people. How do I spend more money on advertisement to spread this out in the world? How do I do that? Like, how can I help more and more and more? And that's how I think of when I think of creating money. It's not making money. I'm creating it. I'm bringing it to me. You know why there's so many people that are billionaires? Because there's enough money to go around, you guys. Like, that doesn't have, it's so funny with the things that we think. And it's just, we need to change that around. And so, ranting, per the usual. With that being said, I'd like to give you guys my 7 affirmations that I truly, truly love. So first one is, I have it here in my notes. I have been given endless talents, which I begin to utilize today. And when you say these affirmations, I want you to say them with intention, and I want you to say that more than one time. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror, and I know this is so weird. Sometimes it does get weird. It makes you feel a little weird, but you need to back up the affirmation with as much emotion as possible. You need to believe it. So when I say, I have been given endless talents, which I begin to utilize today. I have been given endless talents, which I begin to utilize today. All of a sudden, I start to feel that in my fucking soul, man. Like, I feel it. And that's where we want to feel it. We want to feel it like deep down inside us, like near the belly button, whatever, in your loins. Like, come on. Like, wherever feels good, let's fucking believe it, guys. Because the moment you start believing it, you feel that energy. Don't you get like high? Like for me, I'm like, woo, I'm feeling it right now. I feel like it's like static electricity. Like when you feel that feeling, it's like almost like falling in love, right? When you have a connection with someone and you look at them and it's like, whoa. But instead I'm just falling more in love with myself. And in turn, by doing that and by believing in myself, I'm just going to receive anything else I want outside of me. Falling in love with my job, falling in love with, the next man of my life, man of my dreams, whatever. Like falling in love with yourself is the first and foremost part of this whole equation of happiness to life. Let me just put that out there. So if you want all those things, you want that grace, that peace, that happiness, you need to start falling in love with yourself. And affirmations are one great tool to do that. So, number 2, I am talented and creative in everything I set my mind to. I am talented and creative in everything I set my mind to. And every time I say something like that, and I'm a meditator. I love to, let me just scratch that. Sorry about that, guys. I'm a huge meditator. I'm definitely the kind of person that I love to do affirmations, love to do these things, and then sit quiet. So every day before a tattoo, I always sit quiet because in the mornings are my mornings where I take meetings, I take phone calls, I do coaching calls. I have my own coaches that I have to call. I do my websites, all the things that I'm doing for this new project I'm doing with Instagram. I do that in the mornings. So that's why I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and do my thing. So my head's like super jumbled with a bunch of information. And so I'll do my affirmations, my 5 grateful things, and then I'll do some meditation. And meditation always gets me to really, truly believe in my affirmations. It doesn't have to, not everybody has to be meditative to be spiritual. It's not even about that. But that's just what works for me. What works for you, okay? Number 3, I possess the qualities needed to be extremely successful. I possess the qualities needed to be extremely successful. Now, how good does that feel when you say that shit out loud and you look at yourself in the mirror and you fucking Wonder Woman pose or Superman pose if you're a guy and you're just like, I possess the qualities needed to be extremely successful. Fuck yeah, I do. Fuck yeah, I do. Fuck yeah, you do. You totally do. But when you believe it, that's when you'll know. And then what's funny about these affirmations, guys, is that a lot of the times when we start doing shit like this, and we start believing in these things, and our subconscious mind just starts repeating these things over and over and over in our minds every day without us having to say it, that energy exudes out of our pores. And that energy tells the universe like, hey, I'm ready for more. I'm ready for success. I'm ready for growth. And then that shit just comes. And then you start getting ideas. And you start like, well, I could do this, and that to, bring more money here to pay for this in my family, to pay for this seminar I want to go to, like all these things, to pay for that new tattoo machine that I've been wanting forever. And then it starts allowing you to really, truly believe that you can invest in yourself because you're worth it. Because all the negativity, guys, the thoughts at the end of the day, it's only just a tiny little voice in the back of those. It's like reading in between the lines of your thoughts. It just means that you just don't really truly believe that you're worth it. And that's terrible. Worth the sexy body to go to the gym, investing time in your gym, investing money in a trainer. You know what I mean? Like, it's you're not investing time in your craft, like if you're tattooing or if you're an artist some sort, you know what I mean? Like, oh well, I'm just not, maybe I'm not investing in myself because I don't believe I'm good enough. That's a horrible thought to go into anything, but we don't actually think it, But that's what those underlying things mean. And it's all just fear. It's just our ego. It doesn't have to be truth. It's just a belief. You could change that belief, and that's how affirmations work. So keep going. Number 4, I deserve to be employed and paid well for my time, efforts, and ideas. Now, any affirmation you guys have, you guys can change this shit up. You don't have to say it exactly like I do. Sometimes I take some of them, like if I need some new flowing good ones, because sometimes I say things too much, like, and it doesn't really stick anymore. You know what I mean? Because we need like another oomph. I change them around. But this one particularly was something I was talking about, like I was talking about self-worth. For me, it was mostly just like, there have been times where I didn't feel comfortable raising my prices. And because I was afraid that my clients would leave, or that they wouldn't come back, or more people wouldn't want to, buy my services when they saw like my prices or whatever. And it's so funny was because the moment I started believing like I deserve and I am worthy of the money that I make, I deserve to be employed and paid well for my time, efforts, and ideas. I deserve that. When I realized that I did deserve that, and I truly believe that I deserved it, that I am worthy of it, I raised those prices even in spite of my fear, because you guys, we're always going to have fear. But the people that keep moving forward in spite of their fear, or use their fear to push them forward instead of being afraid, bro, the whole floodgates opened for me. All of a sudden, I raised my prices, and I was getting people sitting longer, booking more than one day for 8 hours each day. I had people, excited to come get tattooed by me. I started the quality of my clientele went up significantly. Now, everybody I tattoo, I'm fucking stoked to tattoo, because either I've met them before, or we vibe on a level that is my vibe. And that's the point, guys. And that's a lot of the reasons why, for all the people that are really, really interested in this Instagram, course idea that I have going on right now, this is the point. We are trying to attract our clientele. We have to believe that we are worthy of it. We believe that we are worthy of that. We deserve that shit. And that's the moment where you'll start to see that the changes in the clientele. You're not getting people that just are like trying to ask for handouts, or trying to ask for a free tattoo, or it's like, oh, you do this all the time, it's free. No. You get people that are like, hey, I respect you. It's so funny when you start believing in the things of your worth and yourself and your talents. And God, you guys, I can't fucking stress enough how much it changes everything outside of you. Just the belief of inside of you. Because when you believe it, then all of a sudden you're actually doing physical actions from that belief, because you believe that you're good enough. You believe you're talented enough to grow more. You believe that you want to be a better artist, so you're going to be. I am a great artist. Say that. I am a great fucking artist. I am talented. I am worthy. I deserve to be employed, and paid well for my time, efforts, and ideas. You deserve it. The moment you start thinking that, the moment it'll start happening. Serious. Okay, let's keep going. Number 5, I create new money-making opportunities on a daily basis. Now, this one I love, because this one hits home for me. I had a truly negative relationship with money, and I didn't even realize it. I was in finance. I was an accountant before I became a tattoo artist, before I even knew I could draw. And, being in the finance world, you would think that I'm just super good with money. And I really was. I saved money like a little motherfucker. But the problem was that I was not saving it. I was hoarding it. I was hoarding it because I was so scared that I would not have it again, which is not actually. So saving, like the belief behind the saving was just negative, because I was hoarding this money. And so every time I needed to spend money, I would act like I don't have any. Even though I had this chunk of change of money that I had been sitting on for years and years and years and years, not investing it because I'm too afraid of gambling, not doing this, and I don't do that now, but, or just sitting on it. And I'm like, you know what? I got to put some purpose onto this money. I got to make this money work for me, not me work for it. And so that's all of a sudden when my mind started changing, and when I started realizing that my relationship with money was negative, I started treating money like a sexy boyfriend, okay? And this is a funny thing. You have to really treat, your relationships with time and your relationships with money with respect. And it's like, if I'm disrespecting my money, of course money's gonna disrespect me, bro. Like, come on. If I'm disrespecting my time, of course time is gonna disrespect me, dude. Like, come on. Like, if I choose to go out every single night and go drinking, of course the next morning I'm not gonna be able to wake up and do my workout, and then I'm gonna feel bad about myself, and then I'm going to a negative spiral of fucking self-deprecating nonsense, and it's just like, gross. It's the same thing with money. If I'm going to have a negative relationship with money, I'm going to hoard money. I'm going to act like I don't have any money because I'm so afraid to spend it, because I'm so afraid it's not going to come to me. Of course, money's not going to come to me because I have this negative feeling around it. When I believe that I create my own money, I create my own time, all of a sudden, things just start happening. I moved into this place probably 3 years ago, and I could barely afford it. Barely. But this was during the time when I was really, really, really trying my best to have a better relationship with money, because I was like, you know what? If I do not invest in this and in myself, I'm never going to grow. I'm never going to grow outside of my comfort zone. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. I wanted my own space. I wanted my own space. I wanted my own studio and that kind of thing. And so when I ended up moving into this place, it was just like, holy crap, this is like 3-4 times the amount of rent I've ever paid in my life. What am I going to do? And you know what? The moment I started just believing that I'm going to invest in myself, the moment I believed, you know what? I create new money-making opportunities on a daily basis. I hustled my ass off. At the time, the hustling mentality was good for me because I just knew I needed to do it. And you just fucking did, and I just fucking did it. And now I'm very fine. I definitely can afford this place. It was scary at first, but I invested the time and money into myself because of what? Because of the affirmations, because of the beliefs that I started to provide my mind. At 29, at 28, 29, I was doing this. That's like 28 years of reconditioning my mind. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is that it's possible to start thinking differently, and it's not too late. You could start thinking a new thought right fucking now. It's never too late to start thinking a better thought, because what's more important, your happiness or the beliefs that you've been conditioned to believe for your whole life through experiences that you had, or whatever anger that you still have, or this resentment you might have. Like, let's let that shit go, guys, so that we can be happy, because it's that simple. It's that simple, just to let it go and to be happy and to choose happiness. Okay? So, number 6. Today, I am brimming with energy and creativity and overflowing with joy. Okay, that one is funny. I'm actually kind of goes into what I was just saying. So my chicken scratch handwriting. You think that I'd have better handwriting, but I don't. So let me repeat that. Today, I am brimming with energy, creativity, and overflowing with joy. So with me, something like this, the reason why I love this one is just because a lot of people, and for me, sometimes I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like doing this. And I'm like, no, you know what? I am brimming with energy. I am brimming with creativity, and I am overflowing with joy. Like, I know that by saying these things, especially the energy part, will get me through just to get there. And then once I'm there, I can usually, get some music going and get my ass to get moving in the proper way. And you know what? That happened today. I did not want to get out of bed. I actually had to wake up a little bit earlier today. And so it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough. Hi, boo. It's my cat, if you can hear him, obviously. Hi. I know. I love you too. Okay. So for me, it's definitely, I am overflowing with energy. I'm overflowing with creativity, and I am filled with joy. It's true. And then, honestly, that just kind of puts a smile on my face, because sometimes when you read these things, you're just like, yeah, right. And you're like, and you laugh about it, and you're like, wow, I've already started my day off with a fucking smile. Well, let's keep this ball rolling, let's keep it moving, bro. So yeah, it might sound funny, or it might be like a mouthful to say, but sometimes when we say it out loud and we look at ourselves in the mirror and we kind of giggle and we're like, what am I doing right now? I'm talking to myself in the mirror. I do it all the time. Trust me. I have like 7 different personalities in this body. So today I am brimming with energy and creativity and overflowing with joy. I want you to say that with me right now. I want you to say it with me, because you are, and you will be. If you keep saying it, you will be. Okay? And last but not least, number 7, this is my favorite affirmation. I have said this probably in almost every single one of my podcasts, which is 9. This is episode 9. I'm so excited about it. I've been really, really doing my best to do every week, being a woman of my word, having integrity, and I have done it every single week. I was a little late last week, but that's okay. I still did it every single week. So, number 7 is my favorite. It's, I am aligned with the energy of abundance. And I don't know why this one hits home, but this was probably the very first affirmation I started saying to myself like years ago. And it's the one that stuck, and it sticks to me. And some of them will, guys. Like when you find that affirmation that really, really like holds home, and it's like, really, really revs your engines and really gets you going. It's one of those things that, like, at the end of the day, like, my subconscious mind has absorbed this affirmation to a point where it hits home right when I think it, or when I need it. Sometimes, like, during the day when I'm feeling down, and I'm telling you guys, okay. When you guys see me on Instagram stories, or on Facebook, or, on these podcasts live, and whatever I'm doing, and I'm always so happy-go-lucky, but I'm telling you guys, we're human. We're not meant to be 100% happy fucking go lucky all the time. It happens. You know what I mean? So give yourself the fucking compassion to forgive and let go, and just be like, you know what? I'm not having a great day, but I'm going to turn this shit around with maybe an affirmation. And that's usually what I have to do, because we got to go to work. We can't just call out and be like, you know what? I've been having negative thoughts and I'm not going in, because that's not... That's not very cohesive. And, if you do that, which, trust me, being an entrepreneur and doing my own hours, I've had moments like that, and I've given into those moments. And you know how shitty I felt at the end of the day? So shitty. Because I've given into the negative thought, and all I did the rest of the day by not working, by not creating, by not doing my job, just because I was victimizing myself a little bit, kind of self-pity a little bit. And like I said, you guys, we all have to be compassionate with ourselves, but we all have to realize that if there is self-pity and there's victimization there, and you're putting that on yourself, you really, really, really need to jump on top of that and call yourself out, because either someone else will and you're not going to like it, or no one's going to, and you're just going to allow yourself to wallow and, woe is me kind of mentality, which is, that's just another fucking excuse of not wanting to get something done that you want to get done. And that's just another day wasted, and more of your precious time. You guys, time is so precious. Time is so fucking ridiculously precious. So who you give it to, what you spend it on, do it fucking wisely. So if you're having a bad day, try and turn that shit around. And if you can't, give yourself a day. I always say, give yourself a day. I'm always like a give yourself a day kind of gal. But lately, I haven't really had to have those days. I've had mornings, and I let it go. And then I get back to fucking work. Work meaning like creating or changing my thought process around. And that's why, when I'm having those days, I just think about, because in those days when we wallow like that, what are you really truly thinking? When you're wallowing and you're having like a bad day, or you're just like, oh, it's thinking about something that you don't have. Seriously. You're like, oh, well, I'm upset because, I woke up with a hangover and now I just can't think straight. Or my girlfriend left me and now, you know what I mean? Like all of those things. Or, it's like, or shit, I have to move back in with my parents. Or, it's like we think about all of these things and it's all in the negative of like, I don't have something, or instead what we need to do, and this is the reason why number 7 hits me so hard, because this also comes to that whole relationship with money thing, where I was like, well, I don't have enough money to invest in myself. When I get enough money, when I do this, when I do that, that thought process just means that I don't have and I want. When we focus on the I wants and the I don't haves, it just brings us more I don't haves and feelings of wanting. But when we start being grateful for the things that we do already have and realizing how abundant we already are, more abundance comes to us. So more money, more time with people, meeting people, you know what I mean? Like being around the people that you want to be around that give you good vibes, it's like, I am aligned with the energy of abundance. I think about it all the time. Anytime I even talk to you guys, like online, it truly, truly makes me feel, whoa. Like, I am so fucking grateful for the amount of things that have come into my life that I've created for myself, that I keep creating for myself. I'm so abundant. I am so incredibly abundant. I don't even like to say the word lucky, because it's like, it's not luck, guys. I attracted this to myself. I did work very hard for it. Don't get me fucking wrong. It doesn't come overnight, but it does take time. And once you start to believe it, it starts to come faster. It's not about coming overnight. You have to deal with the journey. Like I talked about last week, it's all about the journey. It's all about the becoming, becoming you. And we have to appreciate the journey. We can't just appreciate the destination. It doesn't work like that. We need to appreciate the journey. And so in order for me to really appreciate everything within that journey, I realize how fucking abundant I am. And look at all of the things, that you've created in your life. If you had to go move back in with your parents, that's fucking awesome. At least they're helping out so that you can keep doing what you want to do. You could keep creating the things you want to create. If you had to get a second job, or you had to pull a second mortgage just to put your kids through college, but now you're doing this, and that, it's like, hey, you have a healthy family that gets to learn more and they get to do what they're doing. You're helping someone get to do what they get to do or what they want to do. You're providing for someone else. There's so much to look at it, you guys. And people want to argue with me all day with this. And and you can argue with me. If you want to argue with me and how shitty your life is, whatever, then that's you. That's on you. That's not on me. I don't hold that to me. I could probably look at anybody's life and find something, but I'm also very compassionate about it. I'm not saying that there aren't some pretty fucked up things that go on in this world that we are just, it's hard to see, the joy and the abundance in that. But like, I do believe that there are ways. And I've met a lot of people that have had some gnarly times of things and have been sick or have passed. And even through the journey toward their passing, they were still so fucking abundant and so fucking positive. It's so crazy. I'm sorry, my cat is so loud. It's so crazy to me. You know what I mean? It's just so crazy to me. So it's like, you can say a lot of things and you can argue with me about how shitty everything is. But at the end of the day, like, do you really want to think those thoughts? Do we really want to just keep wallowing? Oh, well, I had a shittier day than you. No. I had a shittier day than you. I always feel like people are doing that. People are always constantly trying to one-up each other on the negativity thing. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, why don't we one-up each other on the positivity thing? Like, why don't we one-up that? Like, let's do that. You know what I mean? Because more positivity produces more positivity. It's contagious. It's like negativity is contagious. You know, when people say misery loves company, it's like, it's the same thing with positivity. Positivity is contagious. The more we smile at other people, the more people just start fucking paying it forward. So I really, really encourage you to look at your life every day and to find something grateful for it, whether it's 1 to 5 things. Hey, and even if you want to jump on the bandwagon of writing 5 grateful things, and I would say I challenge you just to do that for 1 week, for 7 whole fucking days. If you can do that, hashtag me. Fucking tag me in that shit. I will repost that. I will be so proud of you. I will fucking shout your name out to the heavens, because you know what? We all need to be grateful for what we've got going on, guys. So with affirmations, I'm so glad that I was able to get this out today. And it ended up being a longer podcast than I expected, but I guess I had a lot to say about it. I just want to say that, you know, think about your affirmations, think about what you're telling yourself every morning or every day, and change your belief system around. You know, we all have a way to do that. And this is the first step to doing that. So when you start saying these things out loud and you start to, you know, truly believing them, putting some intention behind the words that you're saying, like I said, because words are powerful, they become reality. Your words can become reality when you believe them. So you guys, sending all my positive love and happy vibes towards you. If you want to listen to more of my podcasts, you can find me on YouTube, Apple Music. I think it's like podcast apps in our Apple phones, but it's Apple Music for anybody else, or Spotify. All you have to look up is The Mind of Reese. Please go and tag me, screenshot this, put it on your IGs. I always repost everything you guys say, because it really, really, truly makes my day when I can help you guys out with these podcasts. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I look forward to talking to you guys next week.